وكيف الحال يا تلميذ جميع الحال في النعم.
جزاك الله أستاذي بدار الخلد ذا القمم.
بها أنهار من لبن وخمر ما لها سقم.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. أشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. شر الأمور محدثاتها فإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أعاذنا الله وأجرنا بها. Brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah, we thank Allah wa ta'ala for sparing our lives. Witness yet another Ramadan, 1444 after Hijrah. Alhamdulillah, we are blessed by Allah wa ta'ala sparing our lives. Early this morning, somebody was telling me that there was one of their colleagues. He even gave a lecture yesterday on Ramadan, but then during the night he passed away. Because he was preparing, to enter into the Ramadan, well equipped. I mean, fully booked with activities and work. But as Allah wills, He never sees the Ramadan. But we are blessed by Allah Ta'ala for sparing our lives. This is an opportunity that you do good deeds to increase the scale of the good deeds in the day of judgment. So it's an opportunity. I urge all enter into this Ramadan, well prepared. Have, a kind of timetable, even if it's not written, it's preferable to be written. That what are you going to do early in the morning, later in the day, after Dhuhr, after Asr, after Maghrib, in the night? What activities have you arranged for yourself? If you do not have a plan for any action, then you are bound to fail. Some people used to say failure to plan is planning to fail. And I think you as educationists, all this. You need to plan. You need to say, for example, I want to complete the Quran, maybe at least once during Ramadan. But then how am I going to complete the Quran? Am I going to read the Quran to the completion? Maybe I'm going to read, like, say, 5-10 pages after each or before each congregational prayer. And then make it, a habit that you read 5 pages or more. Then you see that at the end of Ramadan, you must have completed, the book. Have a plan. I want to see that I come very early to the mosque so that I get at least 2 nafila rakats, and then 2 nafila rakats after each congregation. Then you see that at the end of Ramadan, you have achieved a lot. I want to see that I give charity, sadaqah, however small, however little. Whenever I come out of my home, I want to go to the office, or I close work, I want to go home. Give out something whether you're welcoming or going or in the mosque, if you have a bottle that you donate, do something and make it a habit, continuous. Don't just do once and then you forget. Have something in mind that you're going to achieve this Ramadan. And if you are sincere to yourself, Allah is going to help you. Allah says in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. Whoever strikes on our path, you want to do something for the sake of Allah, Allah says, لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. We're going to ease to them, all our paths. So you're going to have it, it's simple. As long as you make yourself, dedicated, to that duty, you do it simple. Please, brothers and sisters, try to see that you have, a workable plan for this Ramadan. This is the first day, so you still have, ample time. Try to see that you, arrange for yourself something that you're going to achieve and make it continuous. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us. It's doable. A lot of people have done it, and we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. Allah says in the Quran, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. This fasting that Allah has made it compulsory upon us, He has made it compulsory upon people before us, the Ahlul Kitab, and they have done it. So since they could do it, we can do it. If people, before us can do it, we can do it with the level of, advancement and technology nowadays. They may not have all the fans, the ACs, but they have done it. We have, other things that are, count as favor of Allah upon us. So we can do it too. We have to be strategic, plan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spare our life, witness the end of Ramadan. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all our deeds in this Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala include our names among those that He will free from hellfire. As we said earlier, we stop on ayat number 91. But we're going back, a little bit because, we want to start from somewhere people will understand the gist of verses. So we're going to start from verse 88, inshallah, and then we'll continue from there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us, steadfast, and then may He strengthen our tongue to say what He pleases, what will please Him, and what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept and reward us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us the opportunity, the time, the strength to practice all we've learned. There's one thing about learning and another thing about practicing what you learn. نسأل الله تعالى التوفيق ذلك والقادر. Verse 88.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقالوا قلوبنا غلف بل لعنهم الله بكفرهم فقليلا ما يؤمنون.
Now Allah said, وقالوا قلوبنا غلف. The Jews, when the Prophet ﷺ admonished them, called them to Islam, they would say, قلوبنا غلف, our hearts are closed. That is to say, we cannot, listen. We will not listen, and even if we do, we will not believe in you. So they have already made up their mind not to believe in the Prophet ﷺ. So they said, our hearts are closed, our minds are closed. This is, sometimes how they address their prophets. So they told the Prophet ﷺ, our hearts are closed. Please don't waste your time preaching to us. Allah said, "Well, la'anahum Allah bi kufrihim." It's just that Allah has caused them because they disbelieve in Isa alayhi salam. After Musa alayhi salam, Allah sent Isa alayhi salam by name Jesus upon him, But then they denied, Jesus. They said Jesus is not a prophet. Jesus is a son, quote unquote, of a prostitute. So how can a son of a prostitute become a prophet? They said, no, but this is a prophet sent to you by Allah. Said, Man Abu, who is his father? That is his father. Jesus was born, a miraculous without father, but with a mother, Maryam alayhi salam. So the Jews would question, who is his father? Tell us. No, he's God given a miraculous father. He doesn't have a father. But then how can we believe in somebody that does not have a father? That's according to their understanding. They understand, بَلْ لَعَنَهُمُ اللَّهُ بِكُفْرِهِمْ فَقَلِيلًا مَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Only a few things they believe in. Few things. All others they question and then disbelieve. They feel they have the right, the authority to question even Allah Himself. So whatever Allah says, they will ask Him. They will ask the Prophet, question the Prophet, interrogate the Prophet. And at the end, they will say, we don't believe in this. That's what Allah says in earlier verses. So you mean you're going to believe in some of the texts to you, and then you disbelieve in the other texts? So it's the same thing Allah is saying here, a very few things you may know they believe in. Yes, they believe in Allah, they know there's Allah, they believe in Musa as a prophet, but they disbelieve in most of his commandments. Even Musa was complaining, saying, Ya qawmi lima tu'udunani, wa qad ta'lamuna anni Rasulullahi ilaykum. Why do you disrespect me when you know that I am a prophet sent to you? So they know he's a prophet, but they disbelieve in most of the injunctions he gave. Another verse that proves they know he's a prophet is that when one of them killed a Jew amongst them, they said, we have a prophet amongst us. Let's go and ask him who did this bad thing, who killed one of us. So you see, they believe, yes, he's a prophet. Say, oh Musa, pray, to Allah, let him reveal who did this injustice. So they know and agree that he's a prophet, but still they respect him. But then Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, they said they do not believe him as a prophet. In fact, of recent, I was reading in one of the social media that some of the parliamentarians, brought a bill to prevent Christians from propagating Christianity in Israel, even celebrating birthdays of Jesus. That's what they call Christmas. To prevent them from, in fact, propagating Christianity. The Jews do not believe in Christianity. But you know one thing, they know that Prophet Muhammad is a prophet, but they don't want to believe in him. يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. They know him as a prophet. The way you know your own children, even in dark. But they do not want to believe in him. Because when once you are given a prophet, then the prophet now becomes the leader of the world. And all of you have to follow the prophet. But then, unfortunately for the Jews, the prophet, the last and final prophet, Muhammad sallallahu is not a Jew. So they decided to say, okay, now this one is not a Jew. If we believe in him, that means the leadership, the mantle of leadership, is now taken away from the Jewish community and given to the Arabs. You see, and now the Jews are going to be just followers. but حسدا من عند أنفسهم من بعد ما تبين لهم الحق. So you can see it's only the Quran that explains all the atrocities and what have you of the Jews. So they do not want Muslims to read the Quran. They don't want you to know the facts. You understand? Na'udhu billah. So Allah says, وَلَمَّا
جاءهم كتاب من عند الله مصدق لما معهم وكانوا من قبل يستفتحون على الذين كفروا فلما جاءهم ما عرفوا كفروا به فلعنة الله على الكافرين.
Now Allah said, وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ, when a book, that is the Quran, is brought to them من عند الله from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُ, that is, affirming all that is in the Torah. Because all the revealed books are revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they do not contradict each other, no. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا, the Lord does not forget. So the first revelation and the last revelation Quran all tally. They do not, oppose each other. So when the book, that the Quran, was sent to them, because the Quran is sent to the whole world. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَّةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We sent you to the whole world, not just human beings. No, even angels, even the jinns, even the animals, even everything. مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. We have not left out anything in the book. So Quran is sent to the whole world. وَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ كِتَابٌ مِنْ عِنْدِ اللَّهِ مُصَدِّقٌ لِمَا مَعَهُ. This book, affirms all that is in the Torah. And in fact, all other revealed books. That's what scholars say, when you disbelieve in any of the revealed books, then you have disbelieved in Quran itself. You understand? The same thing, when you disbelieve in any of the prophets, is equally disbelieving in the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because all their messages are the same. All their messages are the same. U'budullah, that's worship Allah. Ma'alakum min ilahin ghayruhu. You don't have any other God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All the messages are the same. Only, in some of the jurisprudence, you may have certain differences. The fiqh, you can have a few differences here and there. But the tawheed, the aqidah is the same. The Prophet says, نَحْنُ مَعْشَرُ الْأَنْبِيَاءِ أَوْلَادُ عِلَاتِ. The prophets are of the same, just the same father, but you have different mothers. Same father, different mothers. Same message, tawheed, but different, fiqh, jurisprudence. That's the only difference. Because of the differences in time and location. So Allah says, when the book is, sent to them, and this book, that's in Quran, affirms what is with them, وَكَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلِ يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. The Jews, when the Prophet migrated from Mecca to Medina, he made the Jews there. So when you hear Jews, this verse means is Medina Surah. You understand? So the Jews were bragging, were telling the Kuffar of Medina, before the advent of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, that there's going to be a last and final prophet. So all along they were thinking that prophet was going to be a Jew. There's going to be a last and final prophet. When he comes, he's going to preach Tawheed and destroy all your idols and what you have been worshipping. So وَكَانُوا يَسْتَفْتِحُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُمْ مَا عَرَفُوا. When that prophet, that they knew everything about him in their Torah book. كفروا به. They decided to disbelieve it. They said, no, it's not the Jew now. Yes, we all recognize him by the way Allah described him in the Torah and the location that last final prophet is coming from. That's why they all migrated to Medina, thinking that the last final prophet is going to be among one of the Jewish tribes. But then unknown to them, he became an Arab. So they said, no, we're not going to follow and believe in an Arab. Because once we do that, then the Arab world is going to lead the whole world, not the Jewish world. So they said, no. Because they have this grievance. They don't want to become, passengers. They always want to drive the whole world. So you can see it's just for political reason. Just want leadership. So they decided to accept hellfire instead of Jannah, because they said they will not believe in an Arab prophet, because that Arab prophet is going to make them passengers, not the drivers of the world. So Allah says, وَلَعْنَةُ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ. The wrath, the curse of Allah, is on the disbelievers. The disbelievers. Allah says what?
بئس ما اشتروا به أنفسهم أن يكفروا بما أنزل الله بغيا أن ينزل الله من فضله على من يشاء من عباده فباءوا بغضب على غضب وللكافرين عذاب مهين.
Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بِئْسَ مَا اشْتَرَوْا بِهِ أَنفُسَهُم. This trade, this kind of transaction to give away Iman because of worldly things, because of just leadership, because you want to be the masters of the world, you want to be the economic power, the superpower, instead of Iman to earn Jannah. Allah says this kind of transaction is the worst kind of transaction ever. They sell out their selves, their souls, for worldly things. They accept, they agree to become disbelievers of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent. They refuse to obey Allah. They refuse to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And yes, they accept, they agree to enter into hellfire. Na'udhu billah. بَغْيًا أَنْ يُنَزِّلَ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ عَلَى مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Because they hate, Allah to reveal His favors, to send down His favors upon whom He wishes. He decided to take it away from them and then give another person. That is Allah's right. He has the right to favor anyone He so wishes. If you truly believe in Allah, then why the hatred? Why the hatred? Why will you hate people that Allah has favored? You understand? It's like, in a contemporary world, if Allah has favored one tribe, other tribes will become, opposition, jealous. But why? This is Allah's favor. And Allah has decided to favor one of, the Ummah, not necessarily from your own clan, not necessarily from your own tribe, not necessarily from your own, section of the country. He can give His favor to any part of the world, any part of the country. It's His own right, so right. So then why jealous? And has favored the Jewish, race for several centuries. Several centuries. All the prophets that were sent were Jews, except a few Arab, prophets. And now the last prophet, Allah decides that He's going to give it to an Arab. In fact, you need to thank Allah for all the favors for several centuries. You led the world for several centuries. And now the last prophet, is an Arab. Then why the Jews? In fact, you need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then Allah says, for this their wrong transaction, they fall into Allah's wrath upon wrath. They disbelieve in Isa alayhi salam, Jesus, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused them. And now they are disbelieving in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another cause. فَبَاءُوا بِغَضَبٍ عَلَى غَضَبٍ وَلِلْكَافِرِينَ عَذَابٌ مُهِينٌ. Verily, the disbelievers are going to be, in torment, strong or big, dishonoring torment, muhin, and the day of judgment. So you see, at the end, the Jew, enter into Allah's path. That's why Allah, unknowingly, they knew what they did. They knew that they were wrong, but they decided, to tread that path, not minding the consequences. That's why Allah said, غير المغضوب عليهم. Al-Maghdub alayhim, those that Allah has, showered His wrath for them, is because they knew they were disobeying Allah, but they still went ahead to disobey. Well, the Christians, they were just worshipping Allah without knowledge. They thought they were doing the right thing. They were lost. But the Jews, they knew they were going against Allah's injunction. They knew. Do you understand? But they still, decided to say, no, we are going to continue. We don't want to be, passengers. Na'udhu billah. Allah said, وَإِذَا
قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ قالوا أنؤمن بما أنزل علينا ويكفرون بما وراءه وهو الحق مصدقا لما معهم قل فلم تقتلون أنبياء الله من قبل إن كنتم مؤمنين.
وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا, when it said to them, believe بما أنزل الله, on what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent, revealed, believe in Quran. All they used to say, نؤمن بما أنزل علينا, we believe in what was sent to us, Torah. That one suffices us. They don't want to believe in Quran. And earlier on, Allah told us that وَكَانُوا يَسْتَفْتِكُونَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا. They used to brag, to the Mushrikun of Medina, that Allah is going to send a last and final prophet that is going to spread Tawheed and destroy all your idols and so on. But now, when the prophet, came, they said, no, we want to believe in Torah. That one suffices. We don't want to believe in Quran again. Why? Because the prophet is an Arab. حسدا من عند أنفسهم. سبحان الله. قالوا نؤمن بما أنزل علينا ويكفرون بما وراءه. They disbelieve in everything revealed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala beside the Torah. They say all وقالوا ما أنزل الله على بشر من شيء. Allah has never revealed anything to any human being. سبحان الله. وهو الحق, and the Quran is the truth. مصدقا لما معه, is affirming, testifying the validity of what is revealed in the Torah. قل, Allah said, say to them, فَلِمَ تَقْتُلُونَ أَنْبِيَاءَ اللَّهِ. Why do you kill Allah's prophets? If you say you don't, there is no other prophet, there is no prophet sent by Allah, then why do you kill them? You don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to hear what Allah sent, to you. What they used to say is that if we do not hear from any prophet, then on the day of judgment, we're going to tell Allah that we don't know that we were disobeying you. That's what they said. They say, oh, Allah, you should have sent prophets to us now. Well, now these are the prophets, and then you kill them. You don't want to hear from them. And if the scholars, the ulamas, the non-prophets among them decide to continue the message, they say, we kill the prophets because we don't want to hear from them. Now you are telling us the same message. So they kill these ones also. They kill. SubhanAllah. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قُلْ فَلِمَ تَقْتُلُونَ. Why are you killing? He didn't say, why are you killed? Why are you killing? That is to say, it's their habit. It's their habit. The ones that killed prophets were their forefathers, grandparents. But then Allah is addressing the ones, during the time of the Prophet Muhammad as though they were the ones that did the killing. Why? Because it's in their blood. It's their habit. That is to say, even if a new prophet was sent to them now, they would kill him. And they did on the Prophet Muhammad. If you can remember Khaybar. Khaybar is a village or a town of one of the Jews. When the Prophet fought, the Jews on Khaybar, he defeated the Jews. But then, as Allah wills, one of the Jewish ladies, brought a meat that has, poison in it. Then she gave the Prophet as a present, a gift, saying, "Oh, the Prophet is now amongst us. Let's do something to show appreciation." So she brought this as a gift, unknown to him that there's poison there. I want to tell you, they killed even the Prophet Muhammad. Prophet ate from the meat. But then, because he's the Prophet, he didn't die, but he has been complaining to Aisha, saying, "Oh, Aisha, the meat I ate in Khaybar has destroyed a kind of vein in my neck, and I feel the pain. Even up to the time he died, he said, I used to feel this pain, very painful." Scholars say Allah wills that he is going to do that to attain the position of one martyrdom, shahada, and also a prophet, and also a messenger, and then one of the most pious, human being on earth. All these, attributes, of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then Allah said, "Musaddiqan lima ma'ahum, qul falima taqtuluna anbiya Allahi min qabl nuzul al-Quran." Before this Quran, it has been on record that you have killed several prophets, and especially during Musa alayhi salam time, between Musa and Isa. There has, Allah sent a lot of prophets. They all, preached using the Torah. And the Jews killed these prophets. They killed them. When we reach Surah Al-Imran, we're going to, read some more verses on that regard, inshallah. So Allah says, "Min qabl in kuntum mu'minin." If you truly say you believe in Torah, then why do you kill the prophet sent to you? So in essence, Allah is saying, even the Torah that you are boasting that you're going to hold, tight, you do not even believe in it. They do not even believe in Torah. Because if they do, in Torah, Allah revealed that when a new prophet comes, let them, obey this new prophet and then follow him. But then this, the new prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but they say they will not, believe in him, they will not follow him. So they are even disrespecting the Torah. Allah says, next.
وَلَقَدْ جَاءَكُم مُوسَى بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ ثُمَّ اتَّخَذْتُمُ الْعِجْلَ مِن بَعْدِهِ وَأَنْتُمْ ظَالِمُونَ.
Allah said, verily, Musa alayhi salam the prophet of Torah, came to you with, bayinat, with, miracles or mu'jizat, things that, are beyond human copy, that when he, puts his hand into his pocket, it becomes so bright, shining, like the bulb you have in electricity. You understand? When he throws his staff, that stick there, it becomes a mighty, python. A python, very big snake. And when you holds the snake, it becomes, the staff again. But you understand? And other miracles, very, numerous, just like during, Fir'aun's time, the Prophet ﷺ, Musa alayhi salam, Fir'aun and his people will ask him to please pray to Allah Ta'ala to remove this hardship. Whenever another hardship was removed, they commit another atrocity, and Allah sends another form of punishment to them. So there are a lot of punishments, just like they have frogs, in every corner of the city, even in their bedrooms and so on. You have frogs, these tiny frogs that will be jumping. You see, when another of the miracles that water turning to blood. You understand? And many other things. So these are things that are beyond human copy. Nobody can copy this. Say, okay, me too, I can do this. No. This is called mu'jiza. Mu'jiza is a sign, that a person performing this mu'jiza is a prophet. Most often, they do not even know that they can do this mu'jiza until after it has happened. Because it's not from their own making. Allah is making, this mu'jiza to prove, to the people then that this is a prophet sent by Allah. The greatest and the final mu'jiza is the Al-Quran. The Prophet says every prophet was sent but with a mu'jiza, a miracle. But then the miracle ends when the ministry of that prophet ends. But the Quran is, everlasting, is the everlasting mu'jiza. It will never end, even after the day of judgment. The Quran, because the Quran is word of Allah, Allah will never finish, will never end. The same thing, Quran will never end. Even after Qiyam, don't just assume that this Quran is for the world. No, it's not for the world alone, for this world and the next world. It's mu'jiza khalida. It will never end. You understand? That's why Islam is the fastest growing religion. Because people that can read Quran and digest what is written there become Muslims even without you as a Muslim preaching to them. This is what's called a mu'jiza. And nobody can copy this. Nobody can write the Quran and let it become as eloquent and scientifically correct, historically correct. You understand? Telling you about how to worship Allah, and then telling you about the next world, telling you about the beginning of the world, and it's proven right. Nobody can copy this. Nobody can write the Quran. قل لئن اجتمعت الإنس والجن على أن يأتوا بمثل هذا القرآن لا يأتون بمثله ولو كان بعضهم لبعض ظهيرا. Tell them this is a challenge, an open challenge. Even if the professors in human beings and the professors in jinn, every specialist can come together into a conference, workshop, and then part of them should be assisting the other part just to produce just a copy like this Quran. Allah says, La ya'tuna bimithli. They can never produce an equivalent, copy of the Quran. From their own thinking, from their own profession, nothing. وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. So this Quran is the greatest on miracles. The miracle of miracles. Alhamdulillah, for becoming Muslims. Allah says, when قل فلم تقتلون من قبل إن كنتم مؤمنين ولقد جاءكم موسى بالبينات. Yes, we are discussing on المعجزات. ثم اتخذتم العجل. After you have seen Musa as a prophet, you believe in him as a prophet. In fact, you even followed him to 70 when Pharaoh was trying to kill all the Jews. They crossed over the sea, and Pharaoh was drowned in the sea. After all this, Musa said, Allah has asked me to come and collect some messages for you. When Prophet Musa went to receive the messages, he came back and saw them worshiping a calf. Subhanallah. Calf. There's one Musa Sali, another person by name Musa, but Asali. He said, when the Jews were about leaving, Misra, Egypt. Let me complete this story. Stories are, very beautiful. People like stories about. When they were leaving Egypt, they decided to become flat to show as if they are not leaving town because they were afraid of Pharaoh. They said some of the women borrowed, necklaces, earrings, and so on from the Pharaoh's people, just to show I think they were going to have a meeting or a celebration the next day. So when they left, this Moses they collected all these golden earrings and so on, and then created this calf, and then put a hole from the mouth to the anus. When breeze, air enters into the anus and then comes out through the outlet, the mouth, it makes a sound like that. So they worship. So when Musa came back and saw this, he was very furious. We're going to learn what happened next after, inshallah ta'ala. And we're going to stop here because of our time. We were to have given, like, say, 5 minutes for questions or so. So I don't know if we can still have 1 minute or so. No, it's time, no? MashaAllah. نسأل الله تبارك وتعالى التوفيق والسداد إنه ولي ذلك القادر عليه. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله.